Many people wonder why the people that were already here before the Diné, when the Diné arrived, why did they want to become a part of the Diné people? It was very simple in a way that the people that occupied this area, they had fought and they had wars where they would wipe out whole groups of people. There were many wars. And so when the Diné came, they talked about joy, happiness, confidence, and peace, where it had to be within your spirit, within your emotion, within your mind, and within your physical environment and your physical attitudes. And so it was that it attracted all these people. And over a period of time, they became Diné. So the people of the cliff dwellings and the various groups of people known as the Fremont and the Magallon and the Casa Grande and all these other different groups of people. Sometimes anthropologists say, we don't know what happened to them. They just vanished. The answer is they became Diné. The Diné came into the Southwest some 2,000 years ago. And when they arrived here, there were not very many Diné at the time. There was only 4 small clan groups that arrived here. The Towering House people were the very first Diné. And then they have such clans as the Todichini, which is the Bitter Water, and the Dark Shadow Streak and the Forest people, and some other clan families that joined the group and became Diné themselves. But when they came into this area, they arrived, of course, from the east, and some of the early stories are that they came into what is now the Grand Junction, Colorado area, where the 2 waters flow together. That would be the present-day Colorado and the Gunnison River. But they came into this Colorado Plateau from that direction. And the early Diné say that there were other people that lived here along the Colorado River and along the Rio Grande, which is, of course, not what they were called at that time. But there were people that lived in all the different areas. As the years passed, the Diné were joined by pretty much all of the people that occupied and lived in this area, and they became Diné themselves. They became recognized as clan families or clan groups, and they had numbered possibly in the thousands in some clan families. But every clan has their own history, their own story, their own ways of what they did and what they contributed to the whole society of the people that became Diné. And each clan family had their own clan leaders. Usually they refer to the clan leaders as Natani, which is to say the people that have the gift of leadership, or the people that have the gift of planning. Natayeni is what they refer to them as, the ones that were the leaders and the clan leaders. But they all had their own clan leaders. In many cases it was a man and a woman that they would refer to as first man and first woman. And those were the people that were pretty much responsible for determining what the clan families would be doing and how they would be doing what they had to do. But the one thing was all these different clan families and clan groups understood what it took to work together and cooperate as a Diné. And they all united under the traditional teachings of Diné, recognizing that there was one sacred holy being that was the supreme being, but yet there were other holy people in that they had to recognize. For many centuries they lived in that way and grew in great numbers in various clan families as they became Diné. And the clan families were responsible for the way that their families and their clans acted and interacted with other clan families throughout the Southwest. And if there was ever a dispute, it was resolved as through kinship. And so to this day, actually, we have the word "keh," which means kinship. And so everything that had to be resolved and had to be worked out or had to be planned was based on the idea that all of the different clan families were related in some way. And that was because the various clans intermarried. And whenever a marriage was arranged, and all marriages were arranged in those days, is that one clan family would go to another clan family when a young man or a young woman were of age to marry, and those arrangements were made. And so all of the various clans and that became related because of the intermarrying of different clan families. And one rule was you do not marry into your own clan. And so to this day, that is still the rule. You cannot marry into your own clan. And they all learned the same values and the same principles. And so they pretty much each clan family and clan groups governed themselves to be a part of the greater numbers of the clan families, and that under the teachings of Diné, and that they understood they were Diné, and they had to operate together and live with one another as clan families, but all of them recognized themselves as Diné. And so all of the Diné operated in this manner for many generations and several hundred years. But when the pandemic came, and somewhere in the latter 1500, 1560, 1570, hundreds of thousands of Diné perished. And it was that when they perished, most of the old people were the ones that were gone. And when you look at history, Columbus, Italian himself, he had to find some means to get his voyage financed, and the only people that were willing to do that were the Spaniards. And so Spain financed the voyage of Christopher Columbus. At that particular time, they had just recently experienced 7 epidemics of plague themselves, where 1 out of 3 persons perished. But all those people that came from that continent to this one brought with them many diseases and germs and viruses and that our people over here on this continent had absolutely no immunities to at all. So thousands of our people perished. And to this day, the Diné are very fearful of death. They are fearful of the dead. They are fearful of anything that the dead had or owned or anything. And so it was because of the epidemic and that took place. And so after that, so much of the teachings of the Diné were lost. And people moved away and no longer recognized themselves as Diné. And so from about 147 different clan families, today we have about 83 recognized clan families in the Navajo Nation. The teachings of our Diné are still that it is based on Keh, and also our leaders are still called Natani. And when you address them, sometimes you say Shinantai. And these are things that have a very serious history. And our Diné, our young people, need to understand history is very important as to how we came to be Diné. And they should know their own clan history, and they should know how to introduce themselves by their clan families. And those are the things that we are told.